Okay, so recently I did receive a request to review a bot, and we'll be doing just that today. Just search for the bot. Named Rise by Rycochu, Rycochu. I'm not exactly sure how that's supposed to be spelled, but what the hell happened here? You know that it's a troll vote when a bot, which clearly doesn't look bad, gets a style rating of 1. That very clearly is somebody going out of their way to really do a number on this person's bot rating, independently of the quality of the bot. So, that's a problem. That is certainly a problem. I do not have all neon parts on this. So I guess we'll have to find another way. And I do have a means. So let's do that. Welcome to the Avestron account. The old account, the main account, before I created the alts. And let's search again. They should have no problems. Yep, that's fine. But before we get this, look, this really looks good. Let's see what we've got. So, that's a problem. Okay, fine. But before I get it, this version has all bat wings on it. It flies gracefully, great for animation, alright for Battle Arena, but terrible for TDM because it's not meant for combat. Okay. It has a T3 Seeker on it, so you can defend yourself from opponents. Buy it and see for yourself. Okay, I think I'll do that. I do have to say this does actually look pretty good. It certainly looks better than a 1-star, that's for sure. Some people need to get a life. Okay, that's an immediate concern. What happened there? Well, let's test it out. Pretty agile. Pretty fast. I forgot to add speedometer. Oh well. So, yeah, okay. Let's see. Alright. This maneuverability is... okay, that's on me. This maneuverability is kind of reminding me of the Resuscitator, so that's a very good start, considering it's the inspiration for this build. Oh yes, I like this. This definitely reminds me of the Resuscitator. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like the Lockhart and the Resuscitator had a love child. So, okay, that's even more cool. Oh yes, look at those swings. All right, nice sweeping turns. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't have to be snappy. Not for a plane anyway, and it is pretty snappy. Weapons are working as expected. Front PSK is definitely a nice choice on a nano build. Decent arc, decent firing arc. So, that was good. That was a good test. Let's see what we've got here. Very nice looks, once again, but to get more detail out of this, we'll need to paint it white. Of course, I'll revert it afterwards. A little bit of damage testing. That was superficial, but fine. I'm very concerned about how damage travels through the midsection, as that is once again a very thin midsection. And I'm not sure if you're noticing here, but it's actually even thinner than it looks, because there are 3 rows of blocks that have severed connections. And what's going on here? What? Is that rod even connected? It has to be. No? It certainly wouldn't be a legal placement if it was, so... No, it can't be. Okay. Okay, the below looks much more reasonable. It's connected, so the top is... okay. It doesn't seem to connect. You know what? Let's just see for ourselves. Oh, yep, there's nothing there. Okay, so, Alright, well, that's fine. Maybe it's there for cosmetic reasons. It does look better with it than without it. Looking at the rear end of the plane, I like the sides, nice curvature. Bottom looks a little rougher, I must admit. Okay. Oh, I see. You're using staggered edge cubes to delay damage from, paths traveling from left to right or vice versa. That's good, that's respectable. I do think, though, that aesthetically the rear end could have been slightly more refined with those same blocks. There's a gap. These thrusters could certainly be further back, which would be better for overall maneuverability, honestly, but I do understand why it's like this, is to match the top side. Okay, well, that's fine. 2 cosmetic, relatively cosmetic vertical rudders. I always like those, even though they're not, they do actually help with capping a little. They do have more of an impact than some believe. The Protoseeker, its connection points, looks decent overall. It seems to be using 4.5 of its connections, since 2 of the connections are directly connected to each other. Okay, let's put it back, and I like the front. The front definitely looks new Resuscitator-like. That's lovely. And now the props. Oh, well, what? Okay, so the rear prop, main prop, is using 4 out of its 5 connection points and is channeling damage that is spilled over from the destruction of that prop to the midsection of the build. That could be concerning. Because that's the section which is narrowest in the build, so one thing I would immediately be concerned about or worried about is the possibility of spillover damage causing a critical hit from damage spillover to the actual core of the plane. So that's a thing. Taking a look at the front now. Oh, I see what's going on here. Alright, that's nice. Nice little shield flap going on. That's actually awesome. Let's put it back to where it was, although I must admit those 2 particular edge blocks are kind of slightly bugging me. It's entirely cosmetic though, but I do think that swapping them around would work better visually, just a little. But yeah, I'm not the designer and it's entirely cosmetic, so let's restore that. And let's restore everything, in fact. So, I think that was a very good start with Battle Arena. We really should test this out. This looks like a very good match to test things out with.
Your is now active.
forgot to install the speedometer. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Let's get that cap up and running. Sits on the cap nicely enough. So let's see what this plane's got. Alright. Lumber, huh? Oh, good luck, good luck. This so reminds me of the Resuscitator. That's just terrific. Oh, you think you're gonna get me, huh? No, no. That PSK is already proving useful. Nanos are just great overall, so wonderful. And let's get on the assault. What happened there? Okay. That's powered weapon energy module activation. Doing its thing. But I need that energy for more important considerations. And that level play is pretty good. Maintaining that luck is not as easy as it seems. Of course, every player has its limits. I have to say, this is holding up pretty well so far. But hasn't taken a lot of damage either, so let's make that happen. Alright. Opportunity calls. That point's ours. We may not have it. Alright, ions. That's dangerous. Ground facing ions. Noted. Handling damage pretty okay so far. Better than I must have admitted. Better than I admit or must admit. Better than I thought. Right. I think I can push this attack. Oh yes. And the nice thing about this build, which the Lockhart definitely has, but this Resuscitator doesn't have, is the versatility of having both nanos and an offensive weapon. And for pairing, I would say that Drone Seeker is an absolute... you just can't do better than Pro Seeker, or pairing up with nanos. They both consume quite a bit of energy, but that's a worthwhile trade-off. They just work so well together. Ah, too late. I'm too late. Yes, I'm too late. Ah, back to the point. Well, we're dominating this. Yeah, so I really like the performance of this bot. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the Resuscitator once again, but it's not the Resuscitator. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, okay. We got carried, that's fine. But there's one small detail. These weapons are not upgraded, and that makes a difference. Alright, so I really like the wheel bots, voting for them. The flyer is a product of the patch. So, I think it definitely deserves a lot more than 1 star. I'm still concerned about the midsection. I don't think it's been fully tested in that regards, but it has taken damage respectably. And again, that 1 vote, that's definitely going to influence my decision in voting. But to be fair, I think a 4 to 4.5 on combat wasn't an unfair vote. So, let's finally see how fast this plane can go. Add speedometer. screen, of course. And let's add an altimeter, just for the memes. Huh, okay. It's certainly a little faster than the Resuscitator. That actually surprises me just a little. It surprises me, but it also doesn't, because it certainly does feel a little faster overall. I think it has more airfoils in general. I think that's what's going on. It has the same number of thrusters, I believe. I might be mistaken. It has the same amount of type of props, so that's not what's going on. Still has terrific maneuverability for a plane. It hasn't invested in any pitch rudders, so there's that. However, it's still doing very well. And it's a pretty smooth flight, so nice. Very, very, very nice. I mean, what's not to like about this? So this bot is a success, I'd say. I'm still concerned about the midsection, especially on the top level of the plane's structure. However, there is something I would like to take a look at. I'd like to take a look at how these props under the forward wings have been installed. And okay, only 2 of 3 connection points have been connected, which is not ideal in my opinion, but it's certainly doable. And I do feel that there's an opportunity to try to do better. Just try to do better. If I manage, I manage. If I don't, I don't. And that starts with a shorter rod, because well, I don't think I could have fitted a longer rod in there without impeding the connection points. Okay, so need to watch out for both connections above and below the block that would lead to the rods. Oh, wow, that rod goes all the way forward. I'm not so sure how I feel about that. I mean, I imagine it's a form of skeleton, a rod skeleton. That's not a bad thing. I do notice something though. I noticed that with the forward propellers just that 1 cube further apart than I'd normally place them, it does open up the possibility of fitting in another layer of either blocks or rods. In my case, of course, obviously I'm going to go for a rod to connect back and front, thereby improving the overall structure of the build. So, of course, I'm just doing this as a purely mental exercise, or more of an exercise, a theoretical exercise, and this is not intended to in any way, shape or form disrespect the work that Rycochu. I'm going to say Rycochu. If I'm mistaken, I apologize. Rycochu. It's hard to figure out. Well, this is not dissing on his choices in the build. I mean, it's terrific that he's even attempted to make a resuscitator or resuscitator-like, and I think that this is a damn good plane overall, from what I've seen so far. And all I'm doing is just reviewing the internal structure, seeing what could possibly be further improved. I do notice though that the midsection is literally just 1 cube thick. That is of some concern, although it can work. Nothing wrong with a bit of spaghetti in the middle. And this is where things get challenging. And I'm thinking that even though I really appreciate the overall aesthetic, I do think this particular block can afford to be inverted. It looks slightly less aesthetic, but in all truth, unless somebody's really up close and focusing on that detail, they will not notice. So this is the play, in my opinion, and that allows for all sorts of connections to occur, and there we have it. We have connected the wings and the back and front of the build. So that I feel is a small victory. Okay, so let's attempt to reinstall those wings. Okay, 1 wing in. Why didn't that one go in? Let's try again. Okay. I think I know what's going on. Sometimes these wings... I mean, there's 2 possibilities. I could be using the wrong size of wing, or it could be that the build was simply not as symmetrical as could be, and... Okay, so it seems like I've overdrawn my CPU just a little bit, so there's that. So, improving things can end up costing more CPU. I do think, however, that with the change of structure, I can afford to make a few small changes, and, did I actually improve it, though? Okay, I noticed that you've separated the middle and left connection points from each other. That is a very good thing. Was this better off the way it was? Maybe so, maybe so. Maybe what? Did I... what? What? Hello? Are these wings really connected by just 1 or 2 blocks from one particular point? And are they actually connected to each other by a single rod? Okay, that, I mean, alright, well, interesting. Okay, so rodding wings together is a practice I used to do all the way back in 2018, in the first year of my, play. It's something I thought was pretty cool, and it had certain benefits, I admit. One reason I stepped away from that was because I felt it wasn't worth the trade-off. The wings are actually quite important to the survival of a plane. So in this case, I think that at the very least, these banks of wings need to be connected from at least the back and the front. At least there needs to be 2 connection points for redundancy's sake. At the very least. I think this was probably an oversight by the builder. It's a very easy mistake to make. So yeah, I'm just going to see what I can do about fixing that issue. Of course, by fixing, I mean, that's just my opinion. I just think that 1 connection point for a wing is not usually the best way to go about things. I also think that this is an opportunity to remove the wings, as if you have that little redundancy, you really don't want to channel damage between those very few points of redundancy. And the opportunity here is that we can always, add more rods and take a more direct approach. At the very least, here we have an easy out, so I think we can make this look even better aesthetically. This is going to be a little more challenging. Do I want it though? No, I think it's more important to... Okay, that's so... Okay, now we've got a so we've traded one problem for another. We've traded one problem for another. And now we have to figure out how to connect the wing from a second connection point. Okay. So. Alright, that wing can go back in. Okay, fine, fine. However, we still have... Yes, we can, okay. We can install the wing, and when we do so, we'll have to look into improving redundancy. Come on, in you go. Thank you. Oh, this is a nice looking profile. I'm not a big fan of bat wings in general, but that's... I mean, it's just a cosmetic choice, so who cares, right? Right, so let's see about finding other ways to connect the... well, the prop and the wing. The prop seems to be falling into place. That's really good. We have 10 CPU to deal with the rest. And we're running out of CPU really quickly. I think we'll have to sacrifice that block for the sake of this. Any more sacrifices necessary? Let's hope not. This is looking dire. And we're at 2000 CPU and need 4 CPU worth of blocks to bridge that gap, so that's not going to work. How are we going to do this? Well, first things first, we need to save some blocks somehow, or cannibalize them elsewhere. Maybe if I replace blocks. Alright, okay. Maybe I'll have to sacrifice just a little bit of independence. Okay, that rod is too long. Oh, okay. I think I have a plan. Okay, this is looking much more promising. And we've made it. We've managed to connect one set of wings to another set of wings. It's not ideal, I'll admit. Move a spare block, that's fine. I'm not particularly fond of the extra connection points that are unutilized, but that's on me, and I think we're doing pretty okay for the situation. We can reinstate those blocks as they were. May as well try to preserve the vision of the creator as best as possible. And where are we going to spend those last 2 CPU? There's always a way. And you know what? I'm thinking... I'm looking at that structure, I'm really looking forward to improving the structure, and I've figured it out. I think I've figured out a way to just slightly improve the structure. And that's replacing that previously unconnected rod with a connected rod. Big brain. I mean, it's not a huge difference because it's still connected to the same side of the build, but it should be an improvement. Now I could move the rod of the nanos forward for a bit extra CPU savings, but I don't think it's a great idea anyway, so let's get to painting. Let's get to restoring the color scheme of the original build. So, I think I'll take this opportunity. Rycochu, thank you once again for sharing this build. I know that I've taken a slightly critical stance to, evaluating it, but I do hope that you found this to be useful. I hope you found it to be helpful. I hope that you find this to be a means by which you can improve this build. And just pointing it out, I think you knocked this out of the park, other than those few, things that I consider to be suboptimal. I still think that the rear prop could be improved. I'm not liking the way it's connected. But, well done. It's always great to see what other players come up with. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed and found it educational. And thanks for watching.